Welcome to another episode of Upland Stories. Today, we're super excited to have Grombrindal with us. How you doing today, my man?
I'm pretty good. Hoping the Packers eke out a win later today.
Yeah, love the jersey you got out. Have you been collecting some of their legits as well?
Yep, I've been picking up the 2022 legits, and I did some training to get some of the 2021 ones to fill out those collections for them.
Nice. Yeah, I've been. It's pretty. I have quite a bit of legits, and trying to fill out collections for multiple teams has been like it's taken me multiple hours to sort through all those with that new feature. It's been kind of interesting.
Yeah, the UI they have for that's a bit tough to get around.
Yeah, I wish they had like an autofill feature or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
autofill what you have, and then auto optimize it or something like that. So
Well, maybe not auto optimize it. That's my domain.
yeah. So Grombrindal and I met for the first time at Genesis Week in Vegas. We hung out, got to know each other a little bit one night, and it was fun kind of meeting you and seeing some of the projects you're doing. And congrats on the hackathon and your success there. What has developed kind of since post Genesis Week for you?
Yeah. Post Genesis Week, it didn't. The hackathon team itself was kind of broken apart. So J-Man so has gone his separate way and is working with I believe, the Upland Legits League, which looks very promising. I have teamed up with the UPX.world team, and I'm
Okay.
helping them build out their data mines and build all the foundational data they need to kind of create these level 2, metaverses, or whatever they're called.
Yep.
But using that data, we're going to be able to build all sorts of fun games out using the Upland data and recreating bits and pieces of the world.
Very cool. So explain kind of what that entails. Some of the like technical aspects of the work that you're doing. Like, are you having to do work directly on the blockchain to pull that data?
A little bit of both. I had a little bit of a head start just because my optimizer, so I was able to use that as a guidebook for some of the code. But some of the stuff we wanted to do, I ended up having to rewrite fairly large portions of it because I was limited by database size. I think Microsoft gives me 10 gigabytes before they start charging me an arm and a leg in order to keep the database, and I was not about to pay all that cheddar to do that. So I've been rewriting it all in PostgreSQL, which
Okay.
allows me literally no cap for the amount of data I can collect. So I have neighborhood shapes, all the property shapes. I've been collecting literally every send everyone's made, so I can do some interesting things like
Wow.
find out which property is the most sent to, or I also have a list of all the offers now, so I could add a leaderboard to my optimizer for people that put out the worst offers and the most of them too.
Wow. So you're doing all this work for the upx.world project. That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
building out databases. I think I have one server that basically just stores a raw copy of the blockchain, well, not the whole blockchain, just the Upland specific accounts that I care about. I don't care about most of them out there, and I don't have the space to store it all. The general idea behind it is that I'll have all the data I need to essentially, in a 3D environment, rebuild a neighborhood with all the buildings and all the outdoor decor, and even where the cars are parked out there is the
Wow.
end goal. And we have most of that right now, except for the outdoor decor and the cars, because for some reason those locations aren't stored on the blockchain. But Upland is working on building out a route for us third-party developers, so anyone can go out there and like, hey, I need all the outdoor decor in, Fresno, and I'll just give you back a list of them. So, it,
So I'm curious, how did you so do you have a background in like this type of programming or the I mean game development in a way or anything like that? How did you get into Upland and then how did you start saying, "Hey, I want to develop some tools on top of Upland"?
well, I personally have a background in software engineering. I've been
Okay.
doing that for 5 or 6 years at this point, so I had a pretty strong technical background from the get-go. But when I first started playing Upland, I didn't expect to really be using that skill. I just, I got suckered in by a Facebook ad about, property trading. And I think this was back when it was just San Francisco and maybe Manhattan. I forget.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I've been here for a while. And I kind of enjoyed it, but I really didn't get into it till about the Brooklyn release when I
Okay.
got really lucky with Manhattan Beach, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I made a bunch of upx here, and I can turn this in and start flipping stuff, and really building up a virtual empire inside of Upland. So I've kept at it since then.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What was like the overall appeal to you? Like what kind of kept you coming back? I'm curious.
I think part of it is I just like staring at maps. as
Okay.
a as a kid, I did a geography bowls a few times. Just memorizing the
Oh,
capitals of
cool.
Africa, or where the major cities are and stuff like this. And so being able to kind of like look around a city and buy properties, it kind of gives you a nice feel for what the city is. I actually went on a vacation to San Francisco with my girlfriend back in February, and part of it was because Upland had me looking around and seeing all the landmarks there, and I was like, "Hey, this could be a kind of cool city to go see." And so we went out there for a week.
That's cool. That's cool. What was some of your favorite spots you visited while there?
We spent more time than I would have liked in the ferry building because we missed our
Okay.
boat out to Angel Island, or Crypto Kitty Island as it is in Upland.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, no, the ferry building is a pretty cool place. I mean, it's kind of like a big kind of open mall on the inside, and we took we walked down Market Street for a while and kind of got to see that, and I think we saw some of the ships out on the Fisherman's Wharf. I mean, all in all, pretty cool experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the ferry building, I believe, was that the first completed landmark? I think it was
I,
one of the first landmarks.
I
And then
believe it
there's
was.
Coit Tower, right?
I didn't see
Yeah.
Coit Tower, or I didn't go down the the Crooked Lombard with the the hill with the squiggly
Yep.
street on it. I didn't get to see that, but there was a line for the tram to get up to the top of that. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So let's dive in a little bit about some of the cool projects you're actually working on right now. Can you give us any technical background? I actually could have it so you could share a screen if you want to do anything like that as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I could pull up the database I'm working on for upx.world. I could show you guys some of the Postgres stuff, some of the data we have hiding in there. I think I have a few kind of interesting queries that I've saved while I've been just kind of waiting for stuff to load on me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be cool to kind of see some stuff if you're comfortable sharing anything. That'd be awesome.
sure. So this right now is going to be the database for the UPX data mines. As you can see, I think 39 tables here, and a lot of them are the specific data for all the essentials, the land vehicles, mementos, outdoor decors, all the structures. If I pull up one of them here, so let's go ahead and look at the structure data. So this is the data for all of the structures you can currently build in Upland, landmarks
Wow.
or not landmarks, and a few that never were built, like the original Tennessee Titans Stadium that showed up on the blockchain months ago at this time, but they never
Wow.
actually built it. We also have the old Chicago and Cleveland stadiums here, with the original picture for the Chicago one, not the Cleveland one. And
Interesting.
then we have a landmark that's been on the chain for a while, but that hasn't been built yet, if I can find it. Yeah, Holy Name Cathedral in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been on the chain for months, and it's the only buildable or building on that property. So it is a landmark. Just they haven't sold it or given it out yet. And then the next one coming up is the famous Chicago Bean, which hasn't started construction yet, but
Very
it
cool.
showed up on the chain a few days ago.
That one's gonna be rad for sure.
Oh yeah, I've seen it before in real life. It's pretty cool. And well, let's see what else we have here.
So this is cool. So you're able to crawl all this. You're able to pull all this data straight from the blockchain and see all these things. And then is this the type of thing that is going to be available to the public, like to kind of see this type of data?
Yeah, yeah, we're working on some pretty impressive, viewing software. I believe it's Click is something we're looking at right now to create all sorts of, graphs and charts that will basically take in all this data and crunch it up and kind of show it to people in a usable way. Because
Wow.
as you can see, like just massive table full of data, it's really hard to look at, and you really
Yep.
got to make it more user friendly like this.
Yeah, and those of us who don't understand what we're looking at here, but it's really cool what this kind of stuff you're able to pull out and show us. This is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. What I have up here is all the essentials that have been minted so far. You see, some of them are null, and basically that just means that they haven't been given out to a user yet, so I haven't been able to grab the data. So when you said I get it all from the blockchain, it's not entirely true. It's kind of a mix of the blockchain as well as some of the APIs that Upland has out there that they've either given us or I've just discovered on my own.
Yeah. Yeah, and so in the past I've used like a collection optimizer tool. I'm not sure who built that actually. I'm not sure if you were involved with that at all, but it told me like which properties to put in each collection. I think it was a Discord bot. I'm curious, in theory, could that be built now? Because I know those of us who have a lot of the NFL PA legits, like how cool would it be if it told us which ones to put in which collection to optimize the most fan points or something like that?
Yeah, well, I did build the optimizer, and it's now out there in
Okay.
web form instead of a Discord bot too,
Okay.
which is much better than just reading a text file with it. But yeah, it's something that's put on my to do list because I think it should be easier than the collection optimizer in the first place.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can focus in on only one team instead of having to deal with all 32 teams in the NFL at one time, which would make my poor computer melt down with all the heat given off by the CPU calculating it.
So, okay, so you can actually show by team and then you can somehow access like all of, for example, LOYLDOYL. You can see all of my Tampa Bay legits that I have, and then in theory, create an optimizer that shows, hey, put all of these in each of these collections to get the greatest fan points or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm holding off starting work on that yet. One, because I have to finish up the stuff for the UPX land, and two is I'm kind of curious what these UPX earnings that they were hinting at
Yep.
for the legits. So I don't know if that's going to be a one-time collection bonus or if it's going to be an ongoing earnings thing. Because if it's ongoing earnings, then I have two separate things I could be optimizing for. Do I
Yep.
want to go for fan points or do I want to go for return on UPX?
Yep, that's a great point. I was assuming because I made a video recently and I made the assumption that it will be monthly, but that's a good point. It might just be the one-time reward bonus. That's a great point. I'm hoping it's monthly. Fingers crossed. I love monthly. I think it creates more consistent long-term demand. I personally think it would add more long-term value to these things than one-time bonus and people are just trading them, but I'll be curious to see that.
I'm hoping for monthly as well, but even if we get a one-time collection bonus, it'll be nice. But yeah,
Yeah,
monthly would be fantastic. I'm all about that. Would
yeah, that'd be amazing.
really help drive some of the trading around of these legits. I'm a little disappointed during this last release. They're doing like buy a single player at a time type thing instead of releasing them in packs, just because I feel like that would really drive the secondary for them and help people really work together to trade around and try to complete
Yep,
collections.
yep. Are you getting excited about the replica, being able to create replicas as well? I was hoping we would have that by now, but
Yeah, no,
nothing there yet.
it'll be cheaper than buying the mementos. That was sure. I was looking at some of the prices for them in the shop today, and they were
Yeah,
they're a bit pricey. Some of the players I want are doable, but oh boy, that's a chunk of UPX right there,
yeah. Try
especially
to
with the.
max out your Green Bay collection for all the seasons. That'd be a fun goal, right?
Yeah, well, I had a few mementos for last season. I was able to get in 2021, but 2022, I'm going to need like 5 or 6 of them to start closing those collections out.
Yep, yep. Quite a bit, quite a
Hmm.
bit. So what other fun stuff can you maybe show us that you're working on in here? Looks like so much data that you're having to sort through and organize.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is just the raw data right here. I suppose I could see. Let's see if I have any of these. Any of these things. Oh, here's an interesting one. So I think this is a query for previous UPX sales of like essentials and whatnot. And actually, this is something that I want to build out eventually to get like an average price for the essentials we're going for.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
could
yeah.
build like a essential appraiser.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but I don't think I saved that query.
Like average price they're selling for per type or something like that.
Yeah. I'm just writing one on the fly here.
I love it. I love it. This is
Let's see. It's
good old SQL queries.
Oh, yep.
I've had to learn some of this with my marketing background, but I could never do the kind of stuff you're doing right here.
All right. So currently looks like the top average. Let's also throw count star in there so we know actually how many are getting sold. Make sure at least 6 were sold so you don't get some weird ones. So unsurprisingly, the quarterback for Tampa Bay in 2021 has the highest average essential sale at 67,000 upx. Of course,
Yep,
it's
those
Tom Brady.
Brady's.
And then, yeah, you can go down here, tight end Chicago variant, 47,000. So yeah, variants are mostly the top. The first non-variant is a 2020 quarterback for LA.
And so these are averages. These are
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Very
just
cool.
averages for position, team name, variant, and season.
Okay.
And making sure there's at least 5 of them so you don't just get one Yahoo that bought one for $1 million by mistake or something.
Okay, this is incredible. I
But
love it.
I've been slowly gathering this data over the past year or so, and we're finally getting to the point where there's actually enough of it where I can make meaningful appraisals of these things.
Yeah.
So just like the appraiser I have on the optimizer, this is something that I could be writing out for the upx.world folks in the futures, because I see it all the time on Discord. People are asking like, how much is this essential worth? How much is my memento worth? And most people right now, the answer is whatever people pay for it. And
Yep.
this should give people a jumping off point for that.
I definitely myself would pay like $10 a month for something to help me optimize my legits, because man, that I literally, like I said, spent probably multiple hours the past few days just going, since those have been released, going through all the teams and seeing what I have, and man, it's definitely a lot of value that could be added with these tools that you're working on. So I love that you're doing this for the community. I'm glad that we have someone with your skill set investing this kind of time in the game, because I really think there's so much potential here, and that building these tools is going to help so many people actually get more into the game. I think they're necessary for people to even have a better experience, right? And it's not just, the game isn't giving us everything we need. It's people like you that are giving us so many more tools that help us out, man. I love it.
Yeah, and I'd just go ahead and shout out to all the third-party developers out there. I mean, we're all doing necessary work. I mean, we need more than, 1 or 2 data sites out there. If I get hit by a bus one day, well, there goes the optimizer at that. So, I am very happy UPX World is out there doing their thing too as a backup to me. And, anyone else that out there that wants to build out their own thing, like, go for it. There's plenty of room in this space. It's also a great way to learn coding too. I mean, anytime someone on Discord asks me a question, I'm always happy to help, because I just, I like seeing people, trying to go out there and learn a new skill. And this is a great way to do it.
Absolutely. All right, so now we are going to jump into the optimizer that Grombrindal has built out. This is a website at uplandoptimizer.com. Is that correct?
Yep, uplandoptimizer.com.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been working on this on and off since about October of last year, when I was just trying to figure out the optimizer itself. Took many a long bike rides just sitting there trying to think out how to solve this problem and, to figure it out. Turns out the hardest bits were the City Pro and King of the Street collections.
Really? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
If it wasn't for those two, it would have been way simpler.
So yeah, because it can use any property from any city, you have to, the optimizer still has to calculate the way they can get the best return, right?
Yep, they pretty much have to be taken into account for every single collection it tries to optimize until it slots one of those.
Wow. So what went into solving that problem? I can't imagine how long it took racking your brain how to figure that out.
Like I said, many a long bike ride. I would just get on my bike, ride for about 20 miles, and the whole time, instead of, listening to music like I normally do, I'd sit there, just kind of chewing over, like, all right, how do I break this idea after I'd get one? Like, okay, I want to slot this and this here. How could I break this? Well, what if I had a one really big prop and a bunch of small props and, work it out that way? It was a lot of thinking it over and then a lot of coding it. And by now, I've actually forgotten a bit of it. So sometimes I go back in there and I'm afraid to touch anything because I might break it. And I'm like, I don't remember writing this stuff.
Wow, that's incredible. The formula is there. It's
Mhm.
working. Works pretty dang amazing. I've had so yeah, I used this when it was a bot on Discord, but it's amazing now you have it on a website. I personally prefer web-based solutions over these Discord bots. I mean, and it creates, in my opinion, much easier user experience where they can come in. I even think we'll probably see long-term people build like companion apps, like an actual app on your phone. If you're playing Upland through the app on your phone, you could also have like an Upland optimizer app, perhaps like as a companion app to your experience in Upland or something like that, you know?
Right, right. And I've definitely seen some people doing like Chrome extensions to
Yep.
Upland before, which I find really neat. I've never dabbled in that, but just being able to see like the original mint price of a property before you buy it is pretty fantastic.
Like
Instead of having to,
overlays on through the browser.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's again really powerful. I love that. Yeah, so walk us through how someone can come in and use the optimizer.
Yeah, sure. So if you haven't signed up for it before, you have to go register for it. It asks for your Upland username. So I'm just going to toss mine own and it's going to yell at me because, well, I'm already registered for it. Yeah, so it's all already registered. But if you throw in, someone else's username, name 7, because I recognize that one, but don't think it's in the optimizer. So it'll give you back a property and you have to put it up for sale for a certain price. And then you have to create a password. And please, please don't use your Upland password. That's a terrible security risk. Use anything else. So you put the property for sale, create your password, and you click verify, and you're all good. You can log in now. So let me go ahead and just log in with my stuff. So it'll bring you right to your profile page where it loads up all your props. You can see your Spark history. You could see what NFTs you happen to own. You have to excuse the UI because UI development is not my strong suit. We're going to bring a lot of this stuff into the UPX World data mines and have someone
Okay.
that actually knows what they're doing revamp a whole ton of this to make it all modern and new. But yeah, you can. So the profile's cool. You can download CSVs for stuff. So if you're like that type of person that likes to play with raw data in Excel, you can download that and play with it to your heart's content.
Very cool.
But the optimizer itself, so it takes a while to run, especially if you have a larger profile. But it'll spit back this right here, so I can see. I don't have 194 collections. I don't have anything in. I have 46 collections where I have extra props that I could probably
Okay.
sell off. A couple collections here that are unoptimized just because I don't have enough of them. And then apparently Hollywood, it doesn't fill it because there's better options for it to do.
Oh, okay.
And
So
so, yeah,
that could be an example where it says like put some of those properties on King of the Street because you might make more or whatever, right? Like that it's
yeah,
better used in another collection, even though you could in theory fill that collection. Is that what that means?
yeah, exactly. And in my case, it's putting them into the Hollywood Boulevard and the Sunset collections because
Okay.
the return's better on that.
So these are properties that happen to be in multiple collections. They have multiple possible collections that an individual property could be in.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
takes that into account too,
Love
and
that.
it tries to find the best for it. So this is the results for mine. Right now, I just have it sorted by UPX return, but
Okay.
if you're trying to slot it, chances are it's easier for you to go up here, switch it over to collection, and I'll sort it by the standard collections first, and then individual cities.
Okay.
That way, you're not jumping all over in the collections. And one thing I like to do after I slotted it, I can just click there and it closes that for me, so I know I already put that one into place.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool. So then people can come in, go to these addresses, and and fill their collections this way, just using all of these, all the data from this table. That's awesome. Do you foresee in a day where Upland will allow a tool like this to push to automatically, push these collections live to the profile in Upland?
I would love for there to be a way to do that because it's a lot of clicking, especially if you haven't
It
run it
is.
before. Because you have to go through every single one of your collections, and it does take
Yep.
some time. I could almost get there. I'd have to write some code for it because I actually know the boost that each property has right now, so I could almost guess which collection they're slotted in. Uh, but it's not perfect right now.
Yeah.
With some of the third-party tools they are working on, I could see them allowing you to do something like that in the future. But yeah, it would probably have to go through their third-party development API, which right now they're only giving us access to escrow accounts. And
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be amazing if we actually could push that live into the profile, man. I mean, there's so many tools out there that even I know people would pay for these types of premium features just to improve their experience. And again, I think Upland is I'm excited that we're getting to the point where the community can vote on things, and I think I think we're going to see some pretty drastic changes in the next few years with people like you building all these amazing tools that people are going to want as the core experience or as core features. And maybe you could even see Upland, paying you for your tool and just incorporating it right into the game. I think there's a lot of use cases where that would be well deserved. And again, I would love if people like us in the community could actually vote on things like that being incorporated. I think that'd be amazing because you definitely deserve to be compensated for all the hard work you're putting in. Does the optimizer have any like premium features? Have you thought about monetizing it in any way, or is it just a free offering at this point?
I believe how it's set up right now is everyone gets 6 free runs of it, and after that, I charge 200 UPX a run. So it's
Okay.
nothing crazy price wise. I tried to keep it affordable, so everyone in the community could use it if they wanted to.
That's
But
awesome. And I think it's really cool that you're doing it for UPX instead of, maybe USD, that people can actually use their UPX that they're earning in the game to actually pay for a service within the game. That's really cool. How does that work? How do they have to actually like send the UPX directly to your in-game account, or is that tied into the website? How does that work?
I have it set up to you can send it directly to my account. That does work, but I also have a property set up in each city that if someone visits it, the bot sees that and like, okay, this person visited this property for 50 UPX. We're going to count that toward their account.
Okay, so they could just do visits as well.
Yep. So there's on the website there's a list of properties they can go see. There's one in each city. I think the one in Rio, some guy in the Monero node,
Okay.
gave me a property in their node, and so I was like, well, the best way to pay them back is to set that up as my the optimizer branch in that city.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Hey, there you go. Those of you who are getting big into some newer cities, and maybe Grom doesn't have any properties there, you can reach out to him and work up a deal to promote your node there as well. That's really cool. I love the kind of community collaboration that we're seeing within the Upland kind of metaverse community. I've talked about this a few times. It's been just really refreshing when there's so much toxicity in online gaming and in, a lot of these types of online communities. But what has been kind of your personal experience there as far as working with other members of the community?
Honestly, it's been great so far. I mean, the community's fantastic. Like, I'll reach out to people. Like, even before I started with the optimizer, there was a group of us that just enjoyed poking at the back end of Upland, see what we could find. And yeah, no, the community in Upland is fantastic. And I mean, you know, I'm always open to direct messages. Try not to flood my inbox with me, but I do my best to answer questions when people have them.
Yeah, I definitely struggle to keep up with all my Upland direct messages when you're getting a lot every day. I'm pretty bad. Everyone who's messaged me and I haven't got back to, I'm sorry. I will try to try to keep up with all those. I'm sure you experience the same thing, like uh, getting a lot because you are building a tool. I'm sure a lot of people are reaching out with questions and concerns on how to work it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, do you have a gaming background as well? Like is there kind of a gaming side of you that keeps you playing Upland as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been big into computer games. I mean,
Okay.
very big strategy computer gamer. So, growing up was a steady diet of Civilization 3
Yep.
and Age of Empires 2. Played a bunch of that, but, I've played a bunch of the Paradox stuff. I wish I had more time recently, but I've been doing so much programming, so I haven't really had a ton of time to play the new Total War Warhammer, which
Okay.
is where my username comes from. Grombrindal, the White Dwarf. Yeah, has to resolve a grudge so ancient he came back from the dead to do it.
That's an epic username. I love it. I love it. Yeah,
But
I've been thinking, man, I would love like an RTS Age of Empires type game built on top, like using upland cities and stuff like that, kind of doing
oh yeah,
some
yeah.
metaverse battles, city to city or something like that. That'd be really cool.
I mean, I have a very good game idea that I want to start work on once I finish all the data mine stuff. Basically involves building out a neighborhood, in Unity or something. So you have all the structures and everything,
Yep.
and then you want to tear down the neighborhood, doing as much damage as possible using the NFLPA legits. So running backs would tear up empty properties because they tear up turf, or
Yep.
QBs would drop range bombs or something. So I'd use this data from my appraiser and all that to kind of give each value to a property, and then I'd have people compete and you know kind of do it like DraftKings, where like the winner gets X percentage, and
Yeah.
second through fourth gets that. And yeah, that's the idea, and I have. I really want to start building it out, but I got to get all this foundational stuff done first.
Dude, I love that. I just want to compel people out there. If you have ideas such as that genius idea of NFLPA legits attacking each other's neighborhoods, I mean, that's incredible. I think this new phase of third-party development is really what's going to set Upland apart and really create this amazing. I mean, we already have an amazing community, but I would love to see more people just coming in just for the passion of gaming that so many people have and enjoying games using this metaverse real map to the real world. I think there's so much possibility there, and I love theorizing about it.
Oh yeah, and these escrow accounts that the Upland third-party developer team has been working on are just fantastic for implementing stuff like that. And shout out to the Upland team; they've been very responsive to us third-party devs. If we need something, we'll ask it, and they'll see if they can get something together for us. Because I believe they did get one, so we can bulk load properties instead of just going through each one by one. And
Yep.
like I said, they got the locations for the outdoor decor and the vehicles coming soon, so I'll be able to get those straight from them instead of having to do what I do for properties, which is some very wonky combination of blockchain and pinging upland routes that I probably shouldn't be pinging.
Yeah, I can't. I wish I understood all that went into that, and definitely a lot of respect for what you are doing there. That's incredible, man. I think we could talk. I know that you're headed to Packers game with your friends later, so I don't want to keep you too long. But anything else you kind of want to share with us or talk about before you have to get going?
I mean, I think we pretty much covered it all. I mean, keep an eye on the upx.world Discord channel to see what fantastic stuff's coming through there. We got a
Okay.
bunch of people working on the 3D gaming part of it to actually rebuild parts of the metaverse there, and they are way better at Unity than I could hope to learn in the next year or so. So they're doing fantastic work over there. Other than that, go pack, go, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, but man, you're I definitely see you as a genius with this data, all this data stuff. I can't believe that. I loved your story going bike riding just to trying to rack your brain to solve solve this problem. So again, I can't give you enough props. Thank you so much for all the tools that you are building. You're making the community and the Upland game just a better experience for all of us. So honestly, thank you for everything you're doing. And I'd love to have you on again in the future because you're working on so many cool things. Like I just from this kind of short interview, I can tell there's so many cool projects that you have just in mind, and that I'd love to kind of showcase some of those as you continue to work on stuff. So definitely reach out and we can get you on again in the future if that works for you.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, just give me a couple more months to get some more coding done, and should have something a bit more entertaining to show to you. But yeah,
Awesome.
thanks for having me on your show and everything.